Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Tiki Room Radio. Tonight's episode, we're going to be focusing on the difference in this or that arguments of Walt Disney World versus Disneyland. Let's go see if Marc, Be My Valentine, is on. Do. Not yet. Hey, what's happening, Disney Mom? Yo, Michael, what's cracking, dude? Kelsey, what's up, Slay? What up? Rocking that Hot Topic, old school, throwback, Haunted Mansion. This all glows in the dark. We got Leota creeping. We got the ghost, the previous ghost host, Raven, on there. You got the bat stanchions. Pretty cool, huh? All right, let's see if there he is. Okay. What's up, Vic?
Multi-guest, and there we
Becca,
are.
what's up, dude? Don't be clicking multi-guest. You cray-cray. You cray-cray trying to click multi-guest, dude. You're like, the kid misses 1 week. He's out of the game. What's
going on, dude?
Dude, would you get a fresh cut? Look at you.
No, this is just when it grows in. It just looks that fresh.
Sure.
This is what 1 week out west does for the complexion, man.
Oh my gosh, dude! You go to Cali for just a little bit of time, and now you're a brand new man.
I've got that whole Cali vibe about me now.
Mm-hmm.
Backwards trucker hat, California suntan, you name it, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna lie. We had a great time without you, but you were sorely missed, of course. Cheryl held her own and did fantastic. Actually, she beat me. She didn't even hold her own. She crushed me. But I also was very most gracious host and gave her things that she was most fluent in, so that she got to choose every single topic. I just gave it to her.
Cheryl, we're gonna chalk that up as a win for Team Marc.
It should be. It should be. Yeah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't win.
So yeah, man, it is good to be. It's both good to be home and it's not good to be home. Like today, I will honestly say today was the first day that I got hit with the post-Disney blues.
Ooh, but Marc, I think you do exactly what I used to do when I didn't live anywhere near Disney. Thank you, Becca. I always would plan or start booking the next trip. You already have a trip booked.
So we have a trip booked in August to the Grand Californian. We are desperately trying to find some cheaper airfare to get there. Mm-hmm. But we booked August. We didn't know if we were going to go in August. We said, well, listen, let's play it by ear. Let's see how this trip goes. If we're saturated with Disneyland and we don't need to go back, then we're going to cancel it outright. Mm-hmm. And I needed a legit 3 or 4 more days of Disney. Everybody was like, oh, 5 days, it's going to be way too much. I'm like, no, bros, I need 8 or 9 days. I wanted to just keep doing all the things.
Well, so is it that you wanted to experience things, particularly attractions or shows, multiple times? Was there not enough time to witness or experience enough of those attractions or shows? Or was it also the food? Because there's only so much share of stomach that you have to go around through a day. So what really kind of drew you, or is it a combination?
Well, it was both of those. You know how I get. I want to eat all the things, and you just can't. So we did Lamplight Lounge, we did Carnation Cafe, Blue Bayou isn't open obviously because Pirates is down. We did Carthay Circle, we did the Lamplight Lounge. So we hit the major stops. Goofy's Kitchen, over in the Grand Californian. We did Storytellers.
That's the character, correct? The Goofy's Kitchen.
Yep, and we did the Napa Rose breakfast, the Princess Breakfast, which was white glove service for a breakfast, and you had individual meet and greets with every princess. Not like they did table service. They brought you out for a private meet and greet with every single princess that was there, and they rotated them.
That's really, really special.
It was a 3-course breakfast, all you care to enjoy, lobster rolls, like fancy stuff, bro. It was like a brunch.
What was the rip on that, dude?
You don't even want. Well, they brought the bill, so it was one of those.
Sir, how are you at washing dishes for the next decade?
So Linda says, "Did you look at the bill?" And I'm like, "No," but I'm gathering that it's probably crazy given we didn't. So we booked it not fully understanding the scope of it. And for the 3 courses, it was like $130 per person.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds about right. But once again, I feel like if you go to Cinderella's Royal Table, you're not at 130. But if you added alcohol, you could easily get close to a 130. You know, and you would never get that type of experience as you would at this breakfast. And
you did. You got mimosas. So, do I think that the $130 was worth it? Absolutely. Again, it was a 3-course breakfast. There was so much dessert that they brought, and the dessert was so amazing. I mean, like, so this is like 10 and 11 in the morning. We sat for about 2 hours. That's the other thing, that it wasn't a rushed meal. Once we realized
like you're there.
Yeah, once we realized what we were in for, I was like, we are going to enjoy every single second of this. And like there's story time with Belle in the middle of breakfast.
Oh, wow.
She's reading to the kids out on the veranda in her blue and white. Listen,
man, you're paying for that. You're gonna pay to have that many cast members involved to increase the experience, plus the food, plus the alcohol. Like there's no way that you're not going to pay that much.
Amazing. It was amazing. So, and dude, listen, it was our first time there. Those kind of things, like I don't even look at a price tag on stuff like that, in all honesty, because it's an experience. Like this trip, man, was a core memory moment for our family. Like I'm never going to forget this trip. My daughter was like all about the Incredicoaster. She never did an inverted coaster in her whole life. She attacked it like it was her job, then went on the tower. We rode like tower like 13 times. She didn't want to get off of it. This is a kid that won't go on the Tower of Terror for us. Gets on Guardians, hands up. Like, I'm like, who are you right now, kiddo? And she loved it. And she didn't want to go home. Usually at the end of Disney World, Bella's like, I miss my bed. I miss my dog.
Yeah.
She was the one getting all the feels, looking out the window going like, I'm trying to look at Disneyland one more time before we get on the plane. Aww. And I was like, she got it. She definitely got it.
It's that much of an experience. And once again, I think you did the right thing by just keeping it to family. For your first go, that's the right move.
I just want, and the decision was twofold. Like, originally we were supposed to go with some friends, and I nixed that. Like, I said, you know what, I just want this time. I don't want to do the friend circle, and to me, it's important to like have this moment with my kid. And then I continued that prohibition into like social media. And if I posted something on TikTok, I would post at like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. That I would post a singular TikTok or like one little thing. I was not content creating, and the static content I got was basically like me capturing as many memories as I can. Like I wasn't glued to the phone. I didn't want to be glued to the phone. I wanted to be cued into what my daughter was doing and just like look over at her and soak all that in. Such a good decision too. Like I'm glad that I did that because I think it really enhanced the vacation for me, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just, even for me, right? I used to live stream shows at Busch Gardens or things that like when we were with our kids, like I could do and still be there. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's so much better. There was one day where I didn't do it, and I was like, this was so much more enjoyable. So I don't do it anymore, and the experiences are better. I'll still take some static content from here or there, but like I would do that anyway. So that's not something that's that dramatic, and everybody's kind of used to interjecting. But it's not like my style of content is not, let me set up a tripod, let me do this thing for 30 minutes and I'll be back. It's literally, we're all sitting around a table or whatever. Daddy's got to just go. And
that's a lot of my static content too. It's not even me offering commentary or me breaking the moment. It was pretty much me just having a camera up, recording whatever it was. And so, and you can notice that on the TikTok, it's a lot of like text, and then I'll add the robotic text over it, or I'll record a voice overlay because I wasn't going to ruin the moment by interjecting and be like, hey guys, I'm here right in front of the Matterhorn. I just took an image of the Matterhorn, and then I'm going to like later on come back to that. But now that I'm a worlder, I've started to collect some Disneyland swag. You see right here over my left
You have
shoulder.
an Indy. You have Indy.
We have an Indiana Jones from the Satisfactual Sign Co. I got this from Derek. And then, like, the Tiki Room sign, I wouldn't get it before I went, but I'm getting the Disneyland version of this that says Disneyland.
And by the way, theirs is better.
So, listen, there's a lot of stuff, and that's what inspired tonight. So tonight's Tiki Room Studio, we're actually going to be doing a debate on Disneyland versus Disney World. We chose 2.5 hours ago. We said, hey, here are the rides. I have not done any research other than, like, I'm going to go off of pure gut emotion, and
Yep.
I will be the Disneyland stand tonight. You are going to be defending Disney World, and we're going to go toe-to-toe.
Yep.
Disneyland versus Disney World.
I'm excited, man, because you're coming off of that high, that trip high. So I'm excited to see. And plus, there are some things like, so for example, I still haven't cheated and looked at Guardians. I know Guardians is going to come up, and we're going to do Tower of Terror versus Guardians. Maybe that can be our first one. But the straight up,
Yeah.
I still haven't watched it because I don't really want to know. I love not seeing things until you can experience them fully. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Man, sometimes Castles is in here. They are big time streamers in
right.
Disneyland, so
sometimes
they know they get it.
Yeah,
Yep.
sometimes Castles will tell you. I didn't have a chance to see them. I know that they were also at Fantasmic on opening night, but again, I wasn't on like, hey, look, it's content creators. I was just focused on being Marc and being Dad. Like, I saw other content creators walking around, and I didn't engage. I just did my own thing. Yeah, I did my own thing.
Here's my impression of me in the parks. Yeah, so no, totally. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Oh, there's that. Yeah, no problem. Hey, thank you for that like. I appreciate that. It's just, if you just want to see what I look like all the time.
So, but Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is a top 5 ride for me. It's a top 3 ride for me, actually.
Oh, dude,
It's a top 3
okay.
ride.
Where does Cosmic Rewind go against that?
Cosmic Rewind is number 1. But I want to... Yeah, Cosmic Rewind is a number 1. But I think I'm going to say that I think that Breakout is probably number 2. And on a good day, I could make a case for it as being the best ride that Disney has. I really could. I really could make a case for it.
I have 2 other things that are above it in mine. It's Haunted Mansion number 1. Number 2 is Toy Story Mania. But like, I have so much nostalgia and history with those things and the replayability. And
Yeah.
you know, I mean, like, we're gonna really do with Kate probably 13 episodes of 13 hours worth of history of an attraction, which is insane. But it's just, we can go that in depth. That's why I love that attraction so much.
Yeah,
Toy Story Mania, you can go all day with it. But Cosmic Rewind, number 3.
And
crushes.
we're gonna
So
and
good.
we're gonna develop a relationship with the ride. Like, let's not forget that none of us have really ridden it, unless you're Greg. None of us have ridden it that many times. So
Yeah, right. I mean, he's had the opportunity. I've had a couple of friends who have ridden it 10 plus times, and yeah, I mean, it's so unique. Anyway, all right, I feel like we've talked enough.
Ready.
I am excited. I am so happy that you were able to share some of your Disneyland moments with us, and you know, because most of us talk Disney World all the time, so it's nice to be able to get a different perspective. And the beauty of it is, it's only a flight away, and it is still approachable for most folks to be able to try it. And I do recommend, if you are a Disney World fan, you really need to check out the OG Disneyland and DCA, just because it started there, the history's there, it's so dramatically different, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So without further ado, you want to kick us off?
All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Aloha, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tiki Room Radio. My name is Marc Valentine, and I'd like to welcome you to the Tiki Room Studio. I am joined, as always, by the one and only Walrus Carp. Kirk, good evening, sir. How are you? I have missed you.
Aloha, and I am happy to see that you are back here on the East Coast where you belong, because let's be honest, Biggie for life over Tupac, but personal preference.
It wasn't the same without all of you last week, but thank you to Cheryl for stepping in and debating in my stead. She got the win last week on Tiki Room Radio, but I am back here to debate Disney. And this week we have a very cool episode for you. Normally what we do is we will pick topics on the fly, but this week we have a little bit slightly different of a format. We are going to have a discussion and a rides bracket. We're calling this the E-Ticket Takedown, Disneyland versus Disney World, where I will be debating for Disneyland versions of rides. Kirk will be debating on behalf of Walt Disney World rides, and we're going to let you, the audience, decide to see who debated the topic better. So welcome again to the show. The way it works is we each get 1 minute to debate our initial argument. Then you get 30 seconds for a counterpoint. All of this is timed and, of course, scored by our friends that are live here with us on TikTok. If you would like to join the debate and provide us with these debate topics, of course, Kirk, tell them how they can find you on Discord to become part of the debate.
Thanks, Marc. Appreciate that. Head over to walruscarp.com/links. The second button in there, all inclusive. Join the conversation. There is over 842 other Disney-loving fans in there who can help answer your questions. And if you want to give us perspective topics for future Tiki Room Radios, please join the conversation over there on Discord.
All right, as always, to start the episode, I will be spinning or flipping the ceremonial Spira. Kirk, go ahead, call it in the air. I'm feeling generous tonight.
Outpost up.
Outpost up. You are the winner. All right, so let's come right out the gate. Let's get this one right away. And let's do the Haunted Mansion. The Haunted Mansion is in both parks. This is in your wheelhouse, so you get to go first, my good man.
Let's go.
This
is me all day.
Haunted Mansion, Walt Disney World, or Disneyland. Again, you're representing Walt Disney World all night.
Yep.
And I will have Disneyland. So go ahead.
All right. Welcome, foolish mortals, to the better version of the Haunted Mansion. Why do I say it's better? Because more interaction, better queue, longer attraction. The biggest problem that I have with Disneyland is you're missing a lot of scenes. You lose a conservatory scene. You also are missing the endless stairway scene. There is no ghost host playing a piano. And our bride was recently plussed to add a little bit more of a history and storyline to the attic scene. But the truth is, just having a longer version of the Haunted Mansion always will win. And the interactive queue that they added back in 2016 has made it an enjoyable experience where Disneyland's, you're just standing outside. Sure, it's opulent, but so is ours. That interactive queue really does make a difference for guests.
Very well done, sir. Again, I know that this is your strength. You love the Haunted Mansion, but I think I can take you to task on this one.
You're going to say one thing. I know what you're going to say. All right, we're ready.
Well, it's part of it, and I will say it.
I know. This is all right. Go.
Of the two mansions, Disneyland is more opulent, and it's absolutely beautiful. Let us not forget that we have a stretching room that actually stretches and goes down. The room is growing in our Haunted Mansion over in Disneyland, but that is beside the point. There's part of it is a walkthrough. You can take your time in getting through an indoor queue, admire things that you're normally going right by on the Omnimover. We do have a ghost piano player. He's in the attic sequence, and he's well illuminated rather than that dull thing that you have playing. Is he playing the piano? You can't even tell because the projections are so dull. And this is where I get to the meat and potatoes of my argument. The Haunted Mansion is crisp, it's clean, it's like it's in high definition over in Disneyland. There were features I noticed for the first time that I've never seen in Florida because it's run down and it's not kept up the way that it is over in Disneyland. And it's got to be seen to be believed that the ride looks and feels beautiful. Plus we have the Hatbox Ghost. But when you add all that crisp imagery, you're seeing things for the first time.
Jackie, I have to bring this one up because it's just such a good comment. She goes, Marc using the Wii for Disneyland breaks my WDW heart. So true, though, dude. You are officially.
That's
I know.
It.
I don't blame you. All right.
30 seconds.
I hate to correct you, but the stretching room out in Disneyland does not stretch. It goes down. It's an elevator, which is
Goes down.
fine. It's fine. But ours actually stretches. It lifts above. Also, in the front, we actually have the aging man portrait, which you do not have in Disneyland, which changes from that gentleman to the scary kind of ghost-looking guy. And I'll be honest, I think our character portrayals are better. Even the ghost host who's hanging in the stretching room, you can actually see him, Mr. H-Def.
You can. Go ahead, give me my 30 seconds. Go ahead.
All right. Ready?
I don't want to take more time than I'm allotted. You can see him, but again, you can see him better. Everything, I cannot describe it except to say you can see everything better in Disneyland. Madame Leota's room is well lit. The cemetery is well lit. Sometimes there's like a haze in Disney World that can't be explained, and you think maybe it's just meant to be dark. In Disneyland, everything is crisp and clean, and it looks like the ride is just so much better maintained. I don't know why that is, but it's just something that maybe it's because there's so much love and care that it's the original mansion that's what they did with it.
Okay, so let's
put it to vote,
and then I'm gonna hold my comments here. So because I got first, it doesn't matter about world, land right now. I'm always going to be world. Marc's always going to be Disneyland here on this side. But instead, it's really who went first, right? So whoever went first is going to be Smiles. In this case, that's going to be me. So Haunted Mansion in Florida or Disney World is going to be Smiles. And you're voting for Sad if you think Disneyland over in California. I can't say it. I'll wait until the poll's done. But I want to make a overarching about this discussion. The locations are so uniquely different. You know, we have 44 square miles in Disney World where it's so much smaller and truncated. But I said this earlier to Marc, is that if you could take like a greatest hits album, right? That's what Disneyland is. It's literally all the best e-tickets all jammed together with the history of it. And that's what you're really experiencing. It's not so much like, oh my gosh, this is like so much infinitely better. It's just they picked and choose the best of the best and put them in these two locations. I still think there's some inefficiency of use of space there, but there's so much inefficient space because we have it as a surplus. All right, I had it 29-11 on my side. So
5-4, you won here. So you took the round. So you're going to take the Haunted Mansion.
I don't know. See, you didn't do two things. Here's where I think your argument lapsed. Why did you not bring up Haunted Mansion Holiday? I think that is the best overlay in all of any Disney park. And in fact, if it ran Haunted Mansion Holiday all the time in Disneyland, it still would be incredible. And then the Hatbox Ghost, a character that we see in our endless hallways and the door knocker areas. So he has representation in a portrait drawn, but we don't get one.
No,
and it is one of the coolest effects that they've ever made. And the fact that it came back and it was plussed, it's and iconic. Talk about like a cult classic iconic theme park one. But I feel like you might have been able to push you over the edge.
I talked to a cast member over there, and I asked, and I said, look, I have to ask in earnest. I said, is it just recency bias? Do my eyes deceive me? Why does it seem like the rides here are a little bit crisper? That the technology, like, do you guys get to a punch list better in terms of maintenance? Like, animatronics weren't down. We didn't have broken elements on rides. Like, my probe droid was working over on Rise of the Resistance. We didn't have B modes on stuff. Things break down. But we didn't have things breaking down all that often. And I said, like, Lise, what is going on over here? And she said, look, because it's a smaller park, our maintenance team they are able to get to things a lot more than, remember, you guys have 4 gates over there. There's a lot, you're stretched a little bit thinner. So
there's just more things.
The older park, and here's the thing that was crazy to me, man. The older park looked so much better. Like, I could not get over how good the ride looked. That their Haunted Mansion really felt like it was in higher definition because they have lighting elements that I think are just poorly maintained at Disney World, or let's just face it, are not prioritized. That they look at it and they're like,
I think it's more that because I don't think it's a maintenance, probably understaffing for maintenance issues, but there are like immediate priorities, like an attraction isn't working versus something would be nice to get fixed. Like for example, I will die on this hill that Sebastian's projection eyes on Under the Sea with the Little Mermaid attraction made Sebastian one of the most fun audio animatronics in all of Walt Disney World. And the fact that they've covered him up with these little painted on eyes, and you can see the projection elements behind it. They're lit up. It's just one of them broke. They put the caps on, and now there's caps on all of them. And it breaks my heart because that was a little detail that really made that character come to life for me.
Yeah.
Although we are getting a really cool one back. Enchanted Tales with Belle is coming back, so we're going to get Lumi Air, who is probably one of the best. Oh, yeah, Chip & Co. They just went.
It's back.
It just last week.
Yep, it just came back last week. So Enchanted Tales with Belle is officially back as of last week. That before I even went to California.
I'm excited because I can bring the girls to that coming up soon, which will be really fun. I think they're at a good age, too, where it'll feel really magical and fun, and they can be more interactive and more confident. So I think that'll be really fun to do.
I love it. All right, so topic number 2.
All right, let's go.
Debate topic number 2. And we're just going to move backwards. Let's talk Big Thunder Mountain. I will go first with Big Thunder Mountain. You get a chance to have the rebuttal. Let me get the
time on the clock.
Okay.
You tell me when you're ready.
I am ready. In 3, 2, 1. So Big Thunder Mountain, the track is very similar. The ride experience is very similar. Here's the thing that makes the Big Thunder Mountain experience in Disneyland better than Disney World. In Disney World, you get jostled around. It's a little bit of a backbreaker. It's not a very smooth ride. You can hold a camera without a gimbal, and you are having a smooth ride looking like you have that thing in a gimbal. It's very smooth. It's very beautiful. But the other thing is Disneyland has the advantage of climate. Because it's a chaparral climate, and there's not rain and weather and all kinds of heat that's beating on the mountain, they have animatronic animals. They have snakes. They have goats. They have turtles. They have foliage throughout the ride. You feel like you're not just going around the spire of Big Thunder Mountain, but you're going through the forest. You're dipping through various terrains. They have a lot more design elements in it. And dude, I haven't even talked about the dynamite lift and the dynamite effect on the third chain lift, which is nowhere at Disney World, and it makes it such an incredible experience. It's better and it's plus at Disneyland. You are ready. Go ahead.
We never really got a major backstory for Big Thunder until Walt Disney World redid their queue, which added Barnabas T. Bullion, who was Tony Baxter, the designer of Big Thunder, who told us why Big Thunder Mesa existed, why the mining company, the Big Thunder Mining Company, was coming under attack from a god who was very angered by all of the mining that was taking place there to remove all those minerals. We also learned more about the town of Tumbleweed and why they are being flooded. And of course, Professor Columbus, it's like a cloud, right? But basically he's selling like a snake oil rain machine to the town of Tumbleweed that was dealing with a drought until the god flooded the town out. I think the story elements of it, which is what we're really looking for and what we like from things like Cosmic Rewind, is enjoying not only a roller coaster, but a story.
All right, give me my 30-second rebuttal.
All right, 30 seconds. You call it when you need it.
Very appropriate that you cited a flood, because the version that we have over in Walt Disney World is flooded out and devoid of any kind of animatronics or effects whatsoever. It's really a bargain basement version of Big Thunder Mountain. Again, you have all of these special effects on the other one. It's a smoother ride. And for sentimentality, you have the gift that Walt Disney gave to his wife, the petrified stump, the petrified tree, which inspired the spire of Big Thunder Mountain, sitting right outside of the ride, that brings that piece of history and Walt magic to the ride in Disneyland that isn't there in Walt Disney World.
Yeah, Walt's a real romantic. He gives his wife a giant rock. Nice job, dude. But the truth, you know what is fun and romantic is a bunch of kids spinning dynamite until they can actually shoot off a geyser in the interactive queue that's over there. Then they ride this thing, they see the T-Rex bones, they look at that hidden Mickey and hidden Tinkerbell at the end of the queue, and oh wait, is that a little Pascal on the rock? Those little tiny details is what makes the re-rideability and the little fun details of the Walt Disney World version.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put it to a vote. If you think that Disneyland's version of Big Thunder Mountain is better, I argued for as such. Smiles on the Interact. If you think that Disney World is better, sad faces for Kirk and the sad faces for Walt Disney World argument. And if you want, you can see that third chain lift. I just put up a TikTok today showing the ascent on that third part of the ride with the dynamite and the smoke and everything blowing up.
Sorry, this is my POV of you on the ride.
It was like this.
Yeah. Do you know we were supposed to get that that plussing for a long time?
Smile
they
is
promised
Disneyland.
us.
Smile.
They promised us that they were going to add the TNT explosion to our third and final lift hill, and we've been waiting.
Gypped.
We've been just
Gypped.
waiting and waiting and waiting. I know it's a shame because I do have to admit I will tip my hat to that experience because it makes that last drop just a little bit more exciting because the explosion goes off, the steam goes everywhere, and I don't know. I think that particular interactive piece makes that one so much fun.
11
so
to
you
1.
took this one, but it was relatively close. It was 22 to 16, but that 11 to 1 takes you way over the lead.
Took me over the top.
Can we also throw this one out here? If there is an attraction that needs a live action film so that we can really explore the backstory, please, Disney, can we make a Big Thunder? Because I think Big Thunder would do extremely well as a live action film.
Alessia says, hands down, Disneyland has this ride. I have to be honest, this was the beginning of a paradigm shift for me. This ride was the beginning of the paradigm shift for both myself and my wife. As we were riding this, the tracks are identical. And it's all these design elements that I'm like, why are we not getting them over at Disney World? Like, we're getting gypped. And I get it. Like, the weather and the rain would be so hard on those animatronics outside. They would break down constantly. And we do have those design elements, but they're static. They're not doing anything. They're interactive. You can get away with it because there's not as much precipitation in California, and it's arid and it's a desert, so it's not breaking down. But I was like, we can get something on the chain lifts that are undercover. They could add a little something unique for us. Something.
Yeah.
Throw something.
The other thing, though, and I will say this is pure magic. Last night, part of a Carpe Diem for Barbie Ann, not tour guide Barbie, she had told us that we should ride Big Thunder during the fireworks. And I don't know if you've ever done it.
I have done it.
Timed it perfectly. Shout out to Jackie for that lightning lane. And no joke, we got on, and it is when you see the fireworks going off around Big Thunder Mesa, and you can look at the castle, which is already a beautiful castle view.
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
you get the best look. I honestly, I'm going to throw this out there. It is the best attraction to watch the fireworks from. I loved watching it from Astro Orbiter, but where they shoot off the fireworks, you're actually right. You're right under them.
You're right there.
Like you're right there.
On our Dudes Do Disney trip, we did it on accident. That we got on Big Thunder Mountain just because it was a bunch of guys. We were like, hey, we're not into seeing enchantment. We're a bunch of dudes. Let's just do rides. So we get on Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
It was a 5-minute wait. And we experienced it on accident. I was like, this is the greatest accident in the history of accidents right now. It was awesome. All right, so
I used to really enjoy Splash for the fireworks. Splash is still really fun, but you get an obscured view almost all of it. And Big Thunder, you almost get to watch the fireworks for a good solid 2.5 minutes. There's very few times where you are out of you're under coverage. So yeah, it was just, I loved Splash, but it just is way better.
I agree. Speaking of which, let's segue to that ride because Splash Mountain is next up. You get to go first again. Splash Mountain is the third debate topic. I will again, for those who are joining us a little late, I am debating for the Disneyland version of the ride. Kirk is going to be talking about Walt Disney World, Splash Mountain putting 1 minute on the clock. Kirk, whenever you're ready, just tell me to shut up.
Here we go. I mean, this is like a no-brainer that our splash is infinitely better at Walt Disney World over land. Number one, you sit side by side, so ride capacity is greater. Although there is a single rider line over at Disneyland, you get so wet, it's uncomfortable and annoying at California, where in Splash Mountain, even if you get doused, like I did during the Rad Tea Party, I was dry within 40 minutes just because so hot. So it's never a bad thing to get wet at our Splash Mountain. Also, our Splash Mountain is longer. We have more drops, more scenes. The music is the same, but we also have the largest hidden Mickey on ours with the side profile looking out on that amazing castle view, which you cannot get that castle view looking at that little tiny little baby castle that you guys have over there in land. Our splash is also taller at 50 feet. It is a better attraction at World.
All right, give me my 1 minute.
All right.
All right, so for credibility's sake, I'm going to argue that Disney World's version is infinitely better than Disneyland's version of Splash Mountain. Save for one thing, if your primary goal on Splash Mountain is to get completely and totally immersed in water and soaked, then Disneyland is your Huckleberry. Aside from that, Disney World is so much better. The ride capacity is higher. The experience is smoother. The singular log flume is not as comfortable of a ride vehicle to be in. It's more of a traditional log flume ride when you're in that single file. But oh my goodness, do you get wet. There is not a single inch of your body that isn't wet, saturated, and squishy. Shoes, everything done for the rest of the day. And because it's not hot, because it's not Florida, you do not dry off immediately, and it is very uncomfortable to walk around. But Disney World has this ride, hands down. And for credibility later on in the show, I'm going to concede and give this completely to Splash Mountain because it's true.
Yeah, no rebuttals needed. It's just, and like we don't even, no poll, right? Like we're okay with
I'm
moving on.
conceding this, man. For the sake of, just for this.
Yeah, so talk a little bit more about Disneyland's, because we all have experienced, at least on the streams, what Disney World's looks like. But what would you say would be the biggest thing?
Dude, so as a point of information, my daughter was sitting second position, right? And we're thinking here, like, okay, she's going to be fine. There's, that second dip where there's like for us, it's our third, the up and down. I don't know what they're doing in there because it's completely and totally dark, much like ours. I think they have a cannon of water that fires in your face, just in your face. My daughter had a mouthful of water and got completely and totally grossed out because it lapped up over the boat, smashed her in the face. And we came out and I looked at her from here up looked like she had dipped her head into the river. And she was totally grossed out. We hadn't even plunged yet. And my daughter was like, what happened? And then the second time round, I was like, what gives? So I sit in the second position. Dude, a wall of water just hits you on the second. Crazy. I mean, and just...
Well, do you remember in Walt Disney World, right before the lift hill, we used to have... like it was like an arcing cannon of water that would hit you. So what they would do to like kind of mask it is... as soon as a log would go down, right before you're going up the lift hill, when it would go down and pass the briar patch, it would spray water, basically. But it was an excuse to position, and maybe it's a timing thing or whatever, but yeah, I mean, you used to get way more soaked on Splash Mountain, although I got destroyed because I felt like it was almost overfilled, which sometimes does happen after a big rain or whatever, but yeah, I mean, and I actually get more soaked typically. What?
Alessia just said, sit in the last seat. LOL, all Disneyland peoples know this. So I did not sit in the last seat. The one time I rode, only one guy who sat in the last seat. His body got wet, but his shoes were dry. His wife sat in the, whatever the next to last position was. She complained. She said, I have squishy shoes right now. My sneakers are completely soaked.
Well, kids, I hate to tell you Crocs, but
But
Crocs. I
Crocs.
never worry about that ever.
The other thing that like with Disney World, and again, I really can't argue for the Splash Mountain over in Disneyland because I just found Disney World to be that much more enjoyable. The view on the final splash is so much better at Disney World because you're getting the castle, you're getting that profile of Mickey, you're looking out at the
Yep.
entire park. You do get to see some of New Orleans Square, but not much. Most of what you're seeing on the final splash is foliage and like Critter Country. You're not seeing, you're really not seeing
And it
nearly
also
as
kind of
much.
takes you out of the element, right? Like, cause like you're not looking on Frontierland, you're looking at New Orleans, and you're like, well, why am I? Wait, what?
Yeah, it does.
But
It
it's a
takes you out of the
proximity
element.
thing, you know.
All right, so you've got
Is it
this
still
one.
called Critter Country?
Yes.
Is that section called Critter Country still? Or
Yeah,
no?
Critter
Okay.
Country. And then, so right now, Mickey's Toontown is closed. They are preparing for Runaway Railway, but they're doing an overhaul on that land. So right now, that's closed. It's walled off, and Go
Cool.
Away Green is there. But I mean, most of the park is open right now, and it's cool. It's a cool place, man. Again, I love it. And the next one, man, I gave you this, but I'm fighting hard for number 4, and that's Space Mountain. So
Well, yeah.
I get to go. I get to go first
All right,
on this
let's
one.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
All right.
Go for it.
This ride, Space Mountain over in Disneyland, has completely and totally ruined Space Mountain for me at Disney World. 100%. I was very genuine in the last round, and I was honest and in earnest. I said that Splash Mountain was better. In no world, in no universe, is Space Mountain over at Walt Disney World a better ride. It's rough. It hurts. The track is awful. The design elements you can't even see anymore because they're not even replaced. The projector is down. The ride over there, again, higher capacity. You sit side by side, not single file. It is smooth as silk. I cannot tell you what an enjoyable, fun, raucous ride it is. The projections were amazing. Oh, and by the way, I got to ride Hyperspace Mountain. They have an overlay where Star Wars takes over Space Mountain, and it is the most emotional ride that I have ever had as a Star Wars fan outside of Rise of the Resistance. When they hit me with the Star Wars theme on the chain lift, tears rolled down my face. It's incredible.
Okay. Everyone is in here screaming, Kirk's face, just concede. I'm not going to concede. I'm going to argue for Hyperspace Mountain. We desperately need Hyperspace Mountain over at Tomorrowland at Walt Disney World because it is a better attraction. We talked about this yesterday in the Rad Tea Party, and I'm just going to bolster his conversation. We're going to clean slate the last two ones because it is just infinitely better. Wipe out both Omega and Alpha, retract the whole entire thing. This is a good time to do it, right? It's an old enough attraction. You have Tron to filter people right now in Tomorrowland, right? So filter them to Tomorrowland while you are gutting the inside of Space Mountain to make it a one-track, double seat, so we have higher capacity, higher train, update everything inside, give us hyperspace. We need Star Wars, just like Marvel should be in every single park because it's such good IP, Star Wars should be in every single park because it's such good IP and it sells. So,
All right.
I mean, I'm not conceding. I'm just giving you all the reasons for why you're correct.
So
I mean, I guess I am conceding. You win.
I'm gonna
No poll.
Well, but I would like to, just like we did for Splash Mountain the last round. Like there is a lot of discussion that needs to happen around this. Hyperspace Mountain was one of the purest and most fun experiences that I've ever had. Like it can't be one of my favorite rides because it's not permanent. It's an overlay. But as far as overlays go,
it's not an all day every day. It's only there. And when is the runtime of that?
So they brought it back for May the 4th, and obviously because Celebration was in Anaheim, it stuck around for Celebration.
Yeah.
But it's not something that sticks around in perpetuity, and for that reason, I can't say like it's one of the best rides that I've ever done because it's temporary. But the other thing is, even if that's not there, man, I never knew how much I could enjoy the ride experience, just like not taking the visuals and the sound into effect, but the way that the track runs It is so well done, and it's so smooth, and it's such a fun ride. You hit the nail right on the head. Right now, Disney World has a unique opportunity. When Tron opens and all of the crowds are being pulled over to Tomorrowland for that ride, it's the perfect opportunity for a closure and a gutting of the two tracks and to put in a singular track to make it a side-by-side ride, to almost make it that updated, svelte, identical version of what they have going on in Disneyland so that it's an enjoyable ride experience for fans. If they want to make it Hyperspace Mountain permanently, I would never fight you on that, because France does. France has Hyperspace Mountain, and they do that on a permanent basis. You are 100% right. We should have Star Wars in that park, and they own the IP. Why wouldn't you leverage that IP and make that ride relevant, fun, and make it another e-ticket attraction over in Tomorrowland? Dude, I cried. I cried on the chain lift. They hit me with the John Williams score. Like, immediately they hit you with the John Williams score. Involuntarily, tears rolled down my face. And then they shoot you into hyperspace in the second. And then you have TIE fighters and X-Wings duking it out in a dogfight as you are. The mission is to take down a Star Destroyer. Laser blasts are going off. I didn't ever want to film it because you can't capture it on film. It was one of those, I'm going to film the lift, and then I just enjoyed it. Bro, I'm telling you, it was life-changing, and I can never go back to Alpha and Omega, and I can't do our space again.
I'm not crazy about our space anyway. I mean, I wrote it yesterday, and I love the atmosphere of it. I like the storyline behind it. It's a fun experience walking into everything. The queue got plussed. It looks just it reminds me of like Space 220. It reminds me of the Halcyon. Very similar color schemes and lighting and stainless steel. And then you get on the ride, and the best part of the ride is the blue tunnel up through the lift hill, and then as soon as I get off that lift hill and we start rolling down, it is so tight in there because they had to do 2 tracks. I don't know why they had to force themselves to do 2 tracks, but as a result, you're turning all the time. And the turns are so tight, it's like a wild mouse ride, which is uncomfortable to begin with. I mean, and just servicing those ones are not that great either. They're coming to that point where, much like Primeval Whirl, and I know it's iconic with Space Mountain, so you wouldn't want to just get rid of that. And that look of that building is so great, but they can utilize that so much greater. And I would love, love, love to see. And they've already had a working concept. They already have a working concept. Just please plug and play it, even if it takes 2 years to do. People will be fine when Tron is open.
They will
be fine.
And that's the like you said, that's the perfect time to do it. While Tron is open and it's garnering all that attention, no one will notice Space Mountain being refurbished. And they're actually going to be happy about it because they're knowing that they're coming out the other end with a better track and a better ride. People won't be upset. I'm telling you, people will not be upset. Do it. Disney World, we're starting a petition. Space Mountain's got to get refurbed. Completely gutted. All right, man. Here we go.
Agree.
It's for all the marbles. Topic number 5. And the last topic, we are doing Tower of Terror versus Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
I think this is a great one for us to do, because I think it's actually where there's some more bias on some of the other attractions. This is a fair fight. This is a bare knuckle match. I think this is good.
This is it. This is for all the marbles. You are going to go first on this one because you flipped and won the flip. You get the first argument here in the 5th and final round. 1 minute on the clock for the Hollywood Tower Hotel in Walt Disney World.
There is nothing greater than at night walking down Sunset Boulevard and looking at the Hollywood Tower Hotel. It is iconic. It fits the landscape of a movie studio's upper echelon 1940 style hotel. It's gorgeous. And during the holidays, when they do the projection shows, it is the coolest projection show, hands down, of all of the beacons of magic. It's an iconic look. It's the park's centerpiece. It is not the Chinese theater. It is the Tower of Terror. This was a unique time, too, in Disney's history, because they were looking for IP onto making some sort of elevator style coaster, and that's when they were able to snag the Twilight Zone, which is scary and it's iconic, and the narration is all taken from various pieces of the actual Twilight Zone shows, which is so cool, and it's creepy as anything. And I just love dark, creepy rides, and that one just does it better.
All right, give me 1 minute.
Okay.
All right, the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy are in for the most raucous, irreverent, and fun ride you will ever have. Imagineered by Joe Rohde, he took a ride that was already beloved in Disney World, and he said, let's make this fun. Let's change up the mechanic so that it's not fear and dread, but delight and the sensation of weightlessness as Rocket Raccoon unplugs the gantry lift and rocks you. Pat Benatar, Parliament, Elvis Presley, the Jackson 5, every single song has a different drop sequence, and every time that you ride it, it's a different experience. What is sometimes frightful and off-putting to people, now everyone throws their hands up in the air, and it's like a party in that elevator shaft, and it is something that needs to be experienced to have one of the best rides that I have ever done. Oh yeah, and for Halloween, you get a completely different overlay, and Monsters After Dark takes over, and they have one of the best overlays for Halloween, where it's a different ride, completely different visuals, completely different songs. 30 seconds for you.
Yeah, I'm just fixing it to 30. All right. You're really leaning into the fact that you have to have music to make that effective. I think people like being scared. I know you're saying like delight versus terror. Watch somebody with their family when somebody has not been on Tower of Terror. Watch how much they laugh and cackle at their friends screaming at the randomized drop sequences that we get. Plus, we're not claustrophobic and closed in, harping on screens. We actually get to look outside over Sunset Boulevard and the entire park, which is just so cool.
All right. Kirk, you've talked about story, so let me hit you with this. Guardians of the Galaxy builds an amazing narrative that you are a part of Tavon the Collector's collection, and you have to break out of his collection with Rocket Raccoon unplugging the gantry lift, blowing up the power source, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy fighting all of the different things that are coming out of the cages. It's so much fun. It's such great storytelling and Imagineering on a whole new level. Who would have known that Joe Rohde could have taken a beloved attraction, put Guardians of the Galaxy in it, and made it seemingly better? Amazing ride. All right, poll is going to go up. Smiles for Tower of Terror, Hollywood Tower Hotel. Smiles for Hollywood Tower Hotel. Sad faces for Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. This is good.
Isn't Figment in a box?
Dude, Figment's there. They have a garden gnome. They have the space dog. They have Asgardians.
That's so fun.
The queue is incredible. I feel like I'm continuing to argue for my point, which is not fair. I have to talk when we're done.
No. It's totally cool. Well, you know what? I do need to learn more about the overlay, because you're saying Monsters. Is that Monsters Inc.?
No, it's Monsters After Dark is the name of the overlay.
What is that though? What does that mean?
And it's just the song. Like they have its own song where it's like a hard rock version of it. They completely revamped the ride. It's much like they're doing at the Haunted Mansion. They're cleaning out everything and they're putting a completely different ride experience on it just for Halloween. It was $6.4 made over here.
Is it Guardians though?
It's still Guardians, but they're fighting monsters instead of breaking out. They changed the narrative. They completely changed the narrative. It was 6-4 on this side, very close.
I have 27-8 my side.
Yeah. Here's what I will say.
I think it's iconoclastic, and I think a lot of people would be like, let's say for example, they decide, okay, well we can't do an Adventures Campus, but we can do Guardians. Let's just retheme Tower of Terror to Guardians. I think a lot of people would feel slighted because of the nostalgia of Tower of Terror, and people like that fear base of that attraction. I think it made more sense to do a retheme in California, where this thing is literally the showpiece, where if you look at how Bugs Land was set up, like now with Avengers Campus, like it really kind of flows and makes sense.
It makes
where
a
for
lot
us,
of sense.
There's no, unless we're retheming Aerosmith and Lightning McQueen and like the whole back end of that section, Sunset Boulevard, it can change. Everything is movable. They just would have to retheme a lot of things. But I do love, and I miss terribly when they don't do overlays for the holidays. Halloween ones, Christmas ones. For especially, they do it so much more in California, and this is like one of the reasons why Disneyland does certain things better, because it is not a destination, and it is more like a neighborhood, like it's a local hangout. It is for the people that are it used to be Magic Key, but now annual pass holders. They're the ones who are going there consistently week after week. That park is dead during the day, but at 5 o'clock when everybody's off work, it is smoked. And it stays open late because people are hanging. They're having a great time.
Yep.
And they always are doing more food festivals. They're doing overlays. They're having more merch because they need to be able to have reasons for people to get excited and come back all the time, because it's less of a destination where they got you at World. Like, you ain't going anywhere else in Orlando. And most people who are in Orlando, as much as we enjoy it, there's so much to do in World, and it's spread across so much that they don't need to retheme or overlay. And I don't like that. That's why Jungle Cruise is so great. But the Speedway used to have it. I mean, we have Living with the Land, but yeah.
So to that point, people ask me how the crowds were over there. Early on in the day, remember, there are three Disney resort hotels. So in the early morning, if you're staying at one of those Disneyland resorts, Disneyland Hotel, Paradise Pier, or the Grand Californian, you're basically just fighting with 3 hotels worth of people, if they even get up early enough to go and rope drop something. So you can get on almost anything.
What's that time window?
Early in the morning. It's an hour. So they're opening an hour prior. So if you're
that's good, because for us, we only get a half hour. Like if you're staying on property, you're fighting with all the hotels and you get a half hour.
So people said, what were the waits like? Between Genie Plus, which we purchased for $20 because you get the photo pass with it, between Genie Plus and taking advantage of rope dropping, we never waited on a line for more than 20 minutes time. We waited 25 minutes to meet Mirabelle from Encanto. Aside from that, we walked on almost every single ride leveraging Genie Plus. People don't buy Genie Plus out on the West Coast. Why? Because like you just said, the people that are there are locals. They're not going to buy that ride skipping system because they know they're coming back. So the only people that are buying Genie Plus, again, are hotel guests. So there's a smaller pool of people that you're competing with. But here's what I would say.
That's actually really cool. I mean, go ahead.
Here's what I would say to people who are, if you're ever wondering about the other side, they're so different. Please go and check out. We're going to have a series while it's fresh. I'm going to be talking about Disneyland for the next 3 and 4 weeks on our show. I couldn't do a trip report. It would be so ill-fated of me to just do it in one episode. So we did the history of Disneyland and just the feels. That was this last episode that I talked about. But we're going to be talking about dining, resorts, park hopping, Disney's California Adventure, Marvel Campus. I'm going to be doing all of this. But here's what I would say to people. It's different. It's apples and oranges. They're both great. I still love Walt Disney World. But Disneyland really opened my eyes. It's a greatest hits album. But the ecosystem of the park is so different. It is a pure Disney bubble. You're not getting on a bus. You're not taking a monorail. You don't have to take the monorail. The monorail there is an aesthetic. It's not a transportation piece. You can walk everywhere in the park and you live, breathe, and do everything Disney. You never have to do anything but live and dwell inside of a park. And if that's your jam, and rides and just breathing in the history of Walt Disney, the Walt Disney is something that sounds appealing to you, Disneyland's going to change your life. Change your life.
I mean, I feel like there's so many things that we could take as learnings from Disneyland. One thing that you hark on here is the history. The fact that they use that Lincoln's area to be like a roving exhibit hall of historical elements, whether it's concept art or it's modeling, like there is so much of that far removed. It only lives and breathes really in one man's dream in Hollywood studios, which is always consistently there without an exhibit change.
Yep.
I desperately wish they would do something with that whole space with Launch Bay and everything. And I would love, here's what I would like to see. Take Launch Bay from studios, make an exhibit in Batu that becomes like a historical, create a new character who has like basically like a living museum. And then we get rotating exhibits of Star Wars would be tremendous in there. But dude, we're getting so close to bounty hunting, dude.
I know.
We're going to be Magic Band and plussing and catching bounties. They took down the walls, dude. I can see the terminal. I can almost be the Cad Bane that I was meant to be.
I love it. Well, congratulations to you. Walt Disney World emerged victorious. Well deserved. But to everyone again, if you've never made the Sojourn West, you absolutely have to. I'm completely converted. I am a Disneyland stan henceforth. But don't forget, you can catch us here 8:30 p.m. every single week where we are debating Disney topics. Congratulations to Kirk for another win. But until next week, ladies and gentlemen, we have to say farewell and aloha to you. Well done, man. Well done.
Yeah. I mean, dude, when Mel and I first started dating, one of the big trips that we did was to go out to Disneyland. And I remember leaving Disneyland, and Mel and I had always gone during NJEA convention down here to Disney World for a couple of days, maybe a Universal Day, but always Epcot. And it was during Food and Wine, back when they only had one festival. And we went to Disneyland, and I remember getting on the plane, leaving, and just talking about Disneyland being infinitely better because you could walk across the way. And I wasn't even like a crazy Cars IP fan. Cars Land is one of the greatest lands ever designed. It is probably the coolest nighttime location of any Disney park that I've physically experienced. Just unreal. And the food is tremendous there. The attractions are so much fun. And just there's something about Disneyland and the fact that they have so much in a condensed area that just gets you so excited that like you're overwhelmed and overstimulated because there's so much and there's not a lot of walking. Like where everyone's going to put in 12 plus miles in a world day, you'd be lucky to put in 7 miles in Disneyland.
Well, dude, you can be over in Tomorrowland and you're like, oh, let's run to Frontierland really quick. And it's like a 30-second walk across the hub. I mean, you can't get over how close everything is, but it's nice. It's very refreshing. But I mentioned this to Greg. I said, I feel a sense of, so here's my aggravation with Walt Disney World. We have so much space at our disposal, and we have an infinite amount of space which we're not leveraging and utilizing as efficiently as they are in Disneyland. Like, we have entire show buildings that are just sitting idle. I'm looking at you, Stitch's Great Escape. That's been nothing for years now. There isn't anything like that over in Disneyland. Like, those spaces get renovated almost immediately because real estate's at a premium over there. They can't add anything. So
can I get an opinion on a space that most Disneylanders would go, this is trash? I don't feel that way, but I just want to get your opinion.
Sure.
Monsters Inc.
Monsters
Did
Inc.
You ride it?
Over in Disney California Adventure. I really like. I'm a hand to God. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
I love it. I think it's well done. I think it's funny. I think it's cute. Good audio animatronics. I love the ginger smell in the sushi restaurant. Everyone in Disneyland's like, that is the worst ride.
Nope.
And I'm like, how? It's good.
No, I liked it. Now, maybe because I've done it at Disney World and there's nothing unique about it, I would say get rid of the Voyage of the Little Mermaid there, which is, I mean, I've done it. Monsters Inc. to me is a great ride, but it's also a brand new experience. We did Monsters Inc. 3 times, and I thought it was a really solid dark ride. It's a it's a solid dark ride. It's got a good story.
Dude,
it's fun.
and Roz is really funny at the end. Like it's so well done.
Dude, the
And
doors, the room.
I like Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, but I would
Yeah.
rather have that attraction than Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. I
Okay,
never
so-
go on it because it's so annoying with all the pre-shows. It's
Yup.
it's at least an hour-long experience because I have to wait 12 minutes, and then I'm in.
Okay, see, now
know?
we Genie Plused it every single time. We Genie Plus Monsters over there. So we skipped any pre-shows. We went right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
No, I'm talking about Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor.
Oh, no, get rid of that thing. I hate
Like,
that.
you know how we have like, you have to wait through the entire show sequence at least twice.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, I don't care if you have a lightning lane or anything, like, you don't get to cut anything. Like, you're just stuck.
I've been known to drop a hot take about the Laugh Floor once or twice on our podcast where people are like, you monster. Like, they think I'm one of the monsters because I would snip it. I am not a fan.
I would ditch it too.
I don't like
think
the
it's
show.
funny. I think it's a funny show. It's not great. It really hasn't changed that much. I think that is an underutilized space. But dude, I was looking at I usually try to stay away from things, but there was Hollywood is opening up, and a friend just posted a video of the Mario Kart ride, and it made me revisit immediately. Why can't we have whatever that Candy Crush Rainbow Road ride?
I know.
I mean, it's mainly a simulator. Why can't we have that in Tomorrowland?
Disneyland
Wreck-It Ralph needs an attraction.
Disneyland got my wheels turning. It just got me. It reframed a lot of what I know about Walt Disney World and seeing how there's an efficiency to Disneyland that I think we could learn a lot from, and it just also makes you realize too, as a park goer, those subtle differences, albeit small, really pay dividends because it really adds some flavor to the experience. Like, just little things that they're doing there, like little touches that I'm looking at them going like, they're superior. Why? And it's a small animatronic. It's a small plus. Big Thunder Mountain, the perfect example. We should have that projection dynamite sequence. There's no reason.
Dude, I mean,
Why
did we lose that? Why did we? It was there.
That the waterfall that was
you
on
guys-
the first chain lift. It's off. It's been off for how long now? 3 years. That's been off.
You guys also and I mean you guys in land, right?
I'm one of them.
There's
now.
so
I'm
many
one.
little like elements and details that get fixed so quickly, as you had mentioned before. The one though that bothers me, and Lemuel brings it up about Buzz Lightyear. You actually take
Horrible.
what I think is the reverse of how you were not a fan of Astro Blasters, where to me Space Ranger Spin has no replayability. Once you hit Galactic Hero, there's no reason to ever go on that attraction again. Like, there's zero interest for me to go on it.
I agree.
only shoot at 4 targets. It's boring. It's pointless. Like, where at least with Astro Blaster, if you get Galactic Hero, and this is assuming, which obviously a big part of your problem was most of the guns were broken. Assuming the guns are in working full operation, the fact that you can go over Galactic Hero, much like Toy Story Mania, and just keep going, I think if they dumped off the 4 targets, that 3 of them are 100,000 point targets, one's a 50,000 point target, dump all of those off, and just, I think you would have an infinitely better experience if people could go in there and fight for a leaderboard spot.
Or randomize them in that, like, so you want to make a 100,000 point target, here's what you do. Randomize it and have a light that shines on it when it's worth 100,000 points. Randomize that so people aren't statically pointing at the same thing. The Astro Blasters could be better than Space Ranger Spin, but because a lot of the guns were broken and the wear and tear, I don't know what it is about that ride that they don't keep up on the guns like they do some of the animatronics. Yeah, it's really weird. But that was the one ride that I will say that the quality of the ride itself was diminished because some of the tech wasn't working on it. Dude, I have to run.
Go for it, dude.
Well, I'm getting interviewed right now, and I'm actually like 8 minutes late for the interview that people want to know what I thought of Fantasmic, because apparently
interviewed.
Yeah, I'm getting interviewed tonight.
Where are you
over on the Disnerdy Network wants to talk to me on the Disney Underground tonight.
Well, get out of here, dude. You famous.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you, Alessia, for adopting me in the Disneyland family. Kirk, congratulations again on your win, man. I'll see you.
Hey, appreciate it, man. It's not about the win. It's always the fun process. I always feel like I learned something new about attractions. Like Guardians, I had no idea about that Monsters overlay. Still not going to look it up because I want to go and experience it now. So, yeah,
Dinosaur,
Indy, forget it. Indy is
Dinosaur,
like,
you're
so
dead
good.
to me. Dead to me, Dinosaur.
Make that whole area Indy, and I'm with you. I'm still good with that.
Let's do it. Good night, everybody.
All right, dude. Take care,
Later.
brother. See you guys.